everyone. Welcome back. Episode 114. Thank you for joining us, whether you're listening to us or watching us. And you can always do the opposite when you're done doing that. Welcome to the Retro Gamers. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
I got lost in my head there for a moment.
No, I said, well, you know, what else is new? But, hello. It's been a while.
Yes, episode 114. We're back. It's been like, it's been about 2 weeks or so since we did a normal recording like this. And you were gone. You were on travels and pretty much had to go radio silent there for a little while.
by force.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did not have a choice, yes.
So you were in China, threw up the mini episode last week, which we can talk about. I'd like to get your opinion. We'll talk about that a little later in the show because we talked about the PlayStation Classic last week.
Oh,
but
yes.
For now, just real quick, how was China?
China was good, actually. I wasn't there for that long. I was only there for about 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, well, on the
like
ground.
Longer. Okay.
Well, it felt like longer. But no, I was only on the ground there for about 3 days, 3.5 days, for work. I don't know how much information I'm allowed to give, so I'm going to give none.
I'm more like, how was it just being there? What it looked like?
It was interesting. Landed in Hong Kong, which I actually thought was really nice. Like Hong Kong, in and of itself, kind of very, very metropolitan like. So,
I think that was because when they were owned by the British, I think the British just it kind of dolled it up.
Yeah, exactly. So, so I thought Hong Kong was kind of cool in terms of mainland China, which is what I really went there for because we had to do a couple of visits there.
Okay.
That was a little bit more rural, I guess I could say. A little more sparse.
I can see that. Yeah.
But I was also not specifically in a major city. We were in smaller towns visiting factories.
Okay.
So
okay.
So as a result, like, you know, it was, just more rural. The first day we got there was a bit of a mess. And I'll share this story really quickly. I know it's not retro game related, but I landed in Hong Kong at like 2:00 in the afternoon their time, right?
Okay.
My boss landed at 7:00 their time. So I had to wait. Okay. I waited in the airport like 5 hours just for her, which was fine. I found a place. I sat down. I relaxed. I did some work on my laptop. I played my Switch, which was cool. Captain Toad and Mega Man got me through.
Oh, nice.
Yes. By the way, Mega Man couldn't beat a single boss.
It is sadistic.
Yeah, exactly. But my boss shows up at 7:00, and then we had to take a ferry in to mainland China, and then we had a taxi waiting for us to go to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody told us that the ferry terminal was inside the arrivals terminal at the airport. So we left arrivals to go to baggage claim to get her bag. And when we went back to get the ferry, they were like, well, you can't because the ferry's in the arrivals terminal. And, you know, once you leave the arrivals terminal, you can't go back in.
Yeah.
So we go and get her bag, and then we try to go back to get the ferry, and they're like, oh, no, you already left the terminal. You can't go back for the ferry.
Uh-oh.
And we're like, okay, so then how do we get to our hotel? Because our hotel is on the mainland, and we're in Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah, okay, now I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ferry stopped running at, like, I think the last ferry out is like 8:30 p.m. So now it's right now it's like 7:45 or 8:00, and we can't get the ferry. So we're like, what do we do? And a taxi service at the airport was more than happy to offer us a ride to our hotel for $600.
Oh! Oh, wow.
To which we said no thank you. So anyway, so like
that cannot be expensed.
No. So we basically found our way to the short story is we found our way to the hotel.
Okay.
5 hours later.
Oh man. What'd you swim?
You know what? I probably would have gotten there faster if we swam. No, it involved taking like 2 high-speed rail trains and then a 2-hour cab ride.
That does not sound like fun.
No, it was not fun at all. And not only that, like my boss and I at that point, like I had flown there from New York, so it took me 16 and a half hours to get there.
Yeah.
Plus the 2-3 hours before getting to the airport and everything like that. So we're talking about a 30-hour day. We're in the cab, and the two of us are exhausted. So we're like going in and out of consciousness in the back of the cab.
Don't fall asleep at the same time.
No. At one point, I wake up, and the cab driver, I guess the cab driver didn't know exactly how to get there, even though he had his GPS. So I wake up, and the guy has the cab stopped in the middle of the freeway. Dead stop. No other cars are. There are other cars zooming by, and he's dead stopped in the right lane because he doesn't know which way to go on the because there was a split. And we're just sitting in the back, and we're like, okay, and we can't talk to him. He doesn't speak English, so we're like, we're gonna die.
Oh man!
Thankfully, we made it to the airport, to the hotel, and everything was fine. But that was a very crazy, first experience in China. Everything else after that went well.
I hope getting home was a lot quicker.
Getting home, well, because I was going back to LA, it was a bit shorter, so it was 13 hours instead of 16.
Oh, okay. Not bad.
But still, 13 hours on a plane is 13 hours on a plane.
You basically circumvented the globe.
Yes, actually, now this year I have accomplished two very cool things. In June, when I went to Japan, and then I went to Italy. Right?
Oh yeah.
I flew around the world going west. And then this trip, I went to New York, and then I went to China, and then back to LA. So I actually completed an eastbound trip around the world.
So let's put this into perspective, then we'll move on here. So now your internal clock, your life internal clock, should be somewhat reset back. Because you've already went one way, so now you've gone the other way, and you've reset, and you should be back to naught.
Well, no, actually, my internal clock has stopped. I'm officially dead at this point.
This is all a spectra that we're talking to.
Yeah, more or less. So, but anyway, but that was just really cool, and the trip was good. I got to check off another Disneyland on my trip. I went to Hong Kong Disneyland.
That's cool.
Which was really cool.
Sweet.
Yeah,
right, cool.
Had a good time there, and that was my China trip.
And then there you go.
And of course, happy to be back.
I don't blame you. So how many games were you able to complete, or did you just kind of focus on Mega Man and call it a day?
I actually spent more of my time playing Captain Toad.
I was gonna say, do you like that game? But it sounds like you do.
Yeah, I already finished Chapter 1. I don't know how many books there are in the game, but I finished Chapter 1. I'm working on Chapter 2 now.
Remember, because I had it on the Wii U, so I don't know if they've. I know they added a couple of levels.
Yeah, Chapter 1 in Captain Toad involves playing as Toad, and then Chapter 2 you play as Toadette. So I'm assuming
that's right.
It's just 2 chapters,
and they probably got a couple bonus levels and stuff in there.
Yeah, exactly. But no, really enjoying it a lot. It was actually the perfect kind of game because it's a more casual kind of game.
It's a puzzle game.
Yeah, and it's a puzzle game, and I love puzzle games. So and it was a perfect thing to kind of like shut my brain off to all of the jet lag and craziness that I endured. So.
I do not blame you.
Yeah.
So all right, cool.
Well, it's good. Yeah.
Good. Welcome back. Very good stuff.
Thank you.
Talking about Toad Treasure Tracker, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Mega Man 11. I guess, Ant, we can probably let the fans know, kind of what we're thinking about, maybe somewhat incorporating a little bit into the shows.
Yeah. So Larry and I have been talking lately about how, yes, we love our retro gaming, and that's what we've been working on with this show for the past 2 years, 2+ years now.
Yep.
And 114 episodes. But because we're gamers at heart, and we do love our current gaming, and we do play our current gaming, and if you don't see us streaming as often as we used to before, granted we never streamed like not daily or anything like that, but we would stream a bunch here and there. Yeah. And the reason why I think we've kind of gone on a lull with streaming is because there have been a lot of new games that have been coming out that have been getting our attention.
Yep.
So we thought what we may start doing now is we're going to start incorporating some more current gaming conversations into our show.
And what's funny is, I love watching when people stream the old games.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to watch. You get the nostalgic factor. You just see people try and beat games maybe they haven't beaten in ever. Yep. It's weird that, like, I'm not crazy about and no offense to anyone who does it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not crazy about watching live streams of new games, especially brand new games. People start live streaming games day one, and I'm like, fine, that's cool, but I just don't want to watch it because I don't want to get spoiled to it.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that too. Perfect example for that was when the Spider-Man game came out.
Yes.
I'm not kidding you. Like, my Facebook feed, because, like, we're members of, like, all these different
and they're all
gaming pages, which is great, and they're all great. I was like, but I had like 4 or 5 gaming pages that were live streaming Spider-Man. And I'm like, that's awesome. I was like, but like you, to me now, it's like those type of games, they're like movies. I don't want them to be spoiled. I want to sit down. I want to play through and experience it myself.
Absolutely.
So older games are different because, again, they're older. They've been out there for a long time. It's like watching an old movie. You kind of already know what's going to happen because,
at a certain point, there is no more spoiler alert.
Exactly. So, so no, I'm with you on that in terms of streaming newer games. But I don't mind certain newer games like being streamed. So in other words, like I've been hooked on Friday the 13th for a while now.
Well, that's okay, yeah.
Right, but the idea behind that is that because it's a multiplayer kind of game, you're not really getting spoiled to anything because it's always different. And it's the same thing with Dead by Daylight, which is another game that now I am completely obsessed with. See, I held off on online multiplayer for this specific reason, because now it's taking up all my time.
For horror. You're right. PUBG is the same way. Fortnite, you can say it's the same way. Yep. There's no story to it.
Exactly.
It's just, you just go and run and gun or run and slash or do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But let's take a moment real quick, just talk about some of the games. You mentioned Mega Man 11. Yes, Mega Man, the demo was daunting. And that was just one level, Blockman.
Oh, I haven't even played Blockman's level. Here's what happens when I get a Mega Man game. I get really excited because I love the Mega Man series, and the NES Mega Man games, I plowed through them. Granted, they were difficult, but I got through them all. Mm-hmm. Right? When Mega Man 9 first came out, because that was the first old one, it was like, oh, they're making new ones. This is great. Mega Man 9, haven't beaten a boss yet. Mega Man 10, haven't beaten a boss yet. Mega Man 11, same thing. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It could be I'm old. It just could be. I did turn 40. During this little mini break from our regular shows. Although we did have an episode while I was in New York. But,
we did, which I haven't posted yet, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, but
that turned into something completely.
Oh no, that was a whole whole other thing that happened there.
One day I'll drop it.
But like now, like for some odd reason, I'm completely inept when it comes to playing Mega Man, and I don't know why.
I agree with you. I think you're right. Like the original, like Mega Man, the first 6 or even the first 8. Mm-hmm. I guess just that gameplay was different. Now, they incorporate different things. Mega Man 11 now has the gear system, the double gear system, where you can slow down, speed up, power up. It's cool, but I kind of like my straightforward Mega Man. But let me ask you this: did you already go ahead and look into the order into defeating the bosses?
No.
Okay.
And that's really what I need, because I always if you don't look into the order, it's like, how do you know how to do it?
And it's always been very rock paper scissors. It really has.
Yeah.
I did eventually look into. I forgot what the order is. I'll have to look it up again. But yeah, I've only beaten one boss. And I started with Blockman because I figured that was the demo.
Right.
So I'm assuming. But yeah, and even the boss level is different because. You haven't played Blockman, so
no. But I've gotten to a couple of bosses. I can't remember the names, but
still, it's like it's not just the boss. Like some of them like change into other things.
Yes.
So it's weird, but fantastic.
Yeah.
It's one of those sadistic games you like to play over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those ones where it's like you have to die a lot before you learn the patterns you need to do in order to beat each level.
Of course, and a game. So let me ask you this then: what's been basically Mega Man 11 or no Toad? I mean, has been basically your go-to right now lately?
Captain Toad has been my go-to in terms of just like a casual game I'm playing. But right now, I'm playing a lot of Dead by Daylight on my PS4 because I have a group of friends that are on there now.
Oh, okay, good.
That are playing. Yes, I have friends. Yay.
No, I didn't mean like that.
But no, I have. So I have a group on there that I play with, which is really cool. And so I've been doing that, and then a lot of Super Mario Party, which just came out.
Yes, that game is awesome.
It's really fun. I was actually surprised with how different it was, but then I also came to a really quick realization that I haven't actually played a Super Mario Party game since Mario Party 3 for the N64.
You're right. It's been a long time. I mean, I had the ones on Game Boy Advance. I have the one on DS. Those were really fun. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been a long time since I really sat down and played a Mario Party. And from looking at the reviews, looking at the gameplay, I'm not saying they were terrible, but the last few weren't really all of that, like really up to par. But this Super Mario Party truly feels like the N64 versions.
Yeah, and that's how fun it is. Yeah, and that's how it's feeling to me as well. I mean, granted, it does take advantage of the motion controls for some of the games, which is fine. Yeah. But yeah, it's just got a very good nostalgic feel to it.
Have you unlocked that last board yet? I haven't.
No.
Okay, yeah, neither. No. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
No, I haven't gotten to it yet either. But I did find. Have you played the special? There's like I don't know what the game is called.
Like the dance one or something like that?
No, not the dance one. There's another one where there's a grid on the screen.
I started playing that.
It's really cool. It's really fun. So there's a grid on the screen, and then as you win, if you win a mini game, you get to take a tile on the screen. And then it plays like Othello, where it's like as you win mini games, you keep collecting tiles, and then if somebody else's tile is in between two of yours, it flips to your color, and whoever has the most colors wins.
I was gonna say, I think we had to explain what Othello is. That's a game, only game one's played in a long time.
Oh my god! So Othello is a board game that came out, I don't know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago at least.
No, that game's been around for thousands of years.
Thousands of years, but Othello is what I remember when I was a kid. But basically you had circular discs that were one side was black, one side was white, and you put it on a board. Think of like a checkerboard almost, but and then what would happen is the object was if you were to catch your opponent's color in between two of your tiles, you would flip it over and that tile would become yours. And then once the whole board is full, whoever has the most of their tile on the board wins.
I actually had, don't get me wrong, for a video game, it's very boring, but I had Othello on NES. I loved it. Actually,
you know what I had? I didn't have Othello on NES. I had the 7-Up game on NES because but Spot, that first game on the NES, was Othello.
No, I remember.
That's exactly what it was. You just had an animation of the Spot walking around and taking the spots. So
but yeah, no, Super Mario Party, I feel like I think I can maybe say it here now. Next week, I'm going to be in LA.
Yes.
So we're going to do some, our episode will be from LA, and I don't know, maybe we'll get like a Super Mario Party going. You could do a game with 20 turns. It takes like 2 hours to play. So,
well, make sure you bring your Switch with you, because apparently with Mario Party you can hook up 2 Switches.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait. I went to my cousin's last night to play games with my godson and his brother and everything like that. They don't have Super Mario Party yet, and the sole reason why, and Jamie and Eric, if you're listening, do not get them this for Christmas because I plan on it. I want to get them Super Mario Party, mostly because I want to play 2-player and link up the systems, but also I know they would have a blast with it as well. So yeah, I can't wait to do that, and I'm gonna bring my Switch anyway. I need something to do on the flight.
Yeah, exactly. You got a lengthy flight there.
I do.
Yep, and then when you arrive, you're gonna need it for because when you arrive, I'll still be working, so you're just gonna have to sit at my desk, or sit in my office.
I've done that before.
Yes.
So
yes, you have.
And we'll start to wrap this up. The game I've been playing a lot, and again on the Switch. Look, I don't hate to say it. I love to say it. The Switch to me is right now the #1 console in my opinion.
I'm leaning that way for new games because all of a sudden, like I think I just bought 5 or 6 new games like in the last 3-4 weeks.
I'm just loving the Switch, and we talked about it before. You know, it's because of it's weird because of the portability. I think it's not really like the gameplay's not changing, the graphics aren't changing. It's just you can pick up and go and play whenever you want. Well, I think that just adds something to it.
It's that and the game quality. Like, in other words, like I've never been able to take Zelda with me. I've never been able to take Super Mario with me unless you have a handheld game, but it's a different game. Yeah. It's a different system, different game. I was like, but like to be able to say like I took Breath of the Wild with me everywhere for like 6 months.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that's all I played. I played it until I finished everything. And then Mario Odyssey came out, and I did that for like 2 or 3 months straight. Just because it's like when I left my house, it was very easy for me to throw it in my bag and go with it.
So I've been playing, and this is a game that it's already almost 7 years old. Mm-hmm. I've owned it on the PS3. I've owned it on the PS4. So of course I had to buy it on the Switch.
Of course.
Diablo 3.
Yes.
I
have to buy it.
Game.
I mean, everything, and the reviews here are great on the Switch too.
It's on the Switch is again even better in the idea. Well, the Switch version already unlocks everything, so all the downloadable content, everything over the years. So you have everything in one shot. There's a couple of cool items to pick up. I went with a lull with Diablo 3 where I stopped playing it for a long time. So they've updated a lot of it. Mm-hmm. It plays like, if you never played Diablo 3, it plays just like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Oh, Frank would be happy.
But with better endings.
Oh, great. Okay.
There's like seasonal modes. There's always things to do. Always new things to do. Mm-hmm. But the gameplay is just, it always has been awesome. It's just a straightforward, like hack and slash with role-playing elements. Mm-hmm. But it's, again, the portability. I can just pick it up in the middle of a game, head on out somewhere. I'm playing during lunch at work. I'm playing before I go to sleep. It's just, and the multiplayer is even better. I play with a listener of ours and a friend of ours, Tim. Mm-hmm. He's got it as well, and it was funny because we've been texting each other. We've only been able to get online once to play together.
Okay.
And like when I got online to play the seasonal mode to do these bounties, he was like already level 40. I literally just created a character right then and there before I joined his game, and so I was like a level 1 nothing, and in 5 minutes I was already up to like level 15, only because that's just how quickly things happen in the beginning.
Okay.
And then it was actually, I have to say this, he sent me this picture. He's been all in. It's hysterical. He's like, I went to sit down and play for like 20 minutes. 4 hours later. It's like I forgot to put the kids to bed, but I was playing Diablo 3.
Well, that I can understand.
He found this potion that's in Diablo 3. It's called the Bottomless Potion of Kool-Aid. K-U-L-L-E. This is a real thing.
Okay.
Instantly restores 60% of your life. Drinking Kool-Aid allows you to burst through walls summoned by Waller elites for 5 seconds. Because there's some elites that will build walls around you, no pun intended.
Okay.
And with this, you blast through. And it says cooldown 30 seconds. Oh yeah.
Well, it was only a matter of time.
No, that's
look. If the Kool-Aid Man can have his own video game, retro game at this point, then he can show up in things like Diablo 3. I think it's okay.
Absolutely. So, definitely get Diablo 3. Black Friday sale. It's one of those games I'm sure will go on sale.
That's actually what I'm waiting for at this point. Yeah.
Yep. And cool. So that's some of the new stuff we're playing. I think, we'll talk. I mean, if we keep mentioning new games each and every week, we're going to have a whole nother problem as opposed to mentioning all the games we keep buying retro-wise. Yes. So, but let us know, what you're playing. Let us know what you want to hear, what you want to see. And, we're basically now back to the present.
All right, Larry, it is time for this week's retro birthdays. We got some really good ones this week. So
what do we got?
Okay, so we're going to jump right in because I've got seven birthdays this week
Good
that I want to
Lord.
mention. Yeah, I know.
Okay,
but you'll understand why. So we're gonna go with I think we're gonna start with obviously the youngest and go to the oldest. So First one off is in 2003. We are celebrating the 15th birthday of Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube.
All right, first of all, it's sick that that's 15 years already.
It is 15 years old.
Second of all, that was probably one of I ranked the top 3 Mario Karts.
Yes, and it's one of the only Mario Karts I've never played.
Honestly?
Yeah.
You just never owned it?
I never owned it. I don't. There were 2 games that I missed. Actually, I'm sorry. For some odd reason, GameCube was an anomaly for me. I missed Mario Kart. I missed Luigi's Mansion. I missed the Super. What was it, Mario Galaxy on that one? No.
No. That was
Mario Sunshine. I missed the Mario Sunshine on that system. I missed a lot of stuff on that system. I never played Twilight Princess on that system. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. GameCube was a bit of an anomaly, maybe because life. I don't know. Something was going on at that point.
Well, Twilight Princess is more of a Wii game. But
yeah, exactly. It came out towards the end of that system. And around that time, around Twilight Princess, I moved to LA, so there was upheaval. Yeah. So, plus, I was playing a lot of Baldur's Gate with Frank at the time, so I just missed all of those. Frank, it's your fault. Right. Thank you. So anyway, happy 15th birthday, Mario Kart Double Dash. Moving on, happy 18th birthday to Final Fantasy IX, which came out in 2000.
Wow, all right. It can drink. Congratulations.
Yes, it can. Well, wait, no. Yes, it can. No, it can't. 18. 18?
Oh, 21.
21 is drinking. It can vote.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
It can vote and vape.
That's right. You can vote, you can vape, but you can't drink yet. Final Fantasy IX. So happy birthday, Final Fantasy IX.
Yes.
Jumping up a year, 19. Happy 19th birthday. This game came out in 1999. And just to think that we're going to be celebrating 20th anniversaries for these games next year. So happy 19th birthday to Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Nemesis
Is 19 years old this week.
Oh, I don't like this segment anymore. All right.
Yes, I know. Wait till we get to like the 50th birthdays.
50th? What the hell's been around for 50? Okay.
I don't know, but I don't know. We've been in the 40s before.
Oh, I thought.
No, I'm just saying. Okay. But 19th birthday, happy 19th birthday, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. That game still scares the crap out of me. I played it on the Dreamcast actually when it came out like a year or two after. It came out on PlayStation. But happy 19th birthday. Now we're going to get to the ones where you and I are going to feel really old.
Now it's going to hurt.
Yeah, now it's going to hurt us.
Yep.
And they're not even that much older. It's just that it's gonna start a lot of memories. So happy 19th birthday. This one also came out in 1999. Happy 19th birthday to WWF WrestleMania 2000 on the N64.
Wow. One of the best.
One of the best. And then I'm just going to piggyback on that really quickly. Happy 20th birthday to WCW NWO Revenge, which came out a year prior in 1998.
Yeah, that was when Jax switched over to WWE. That game rocked.
Yes, Revenge was awesome. And then a very happy 21st birthday to WCW vs. NWO World Tour, which came out this week in 1997. So these games came out like the same week every year. And that was actually the first one that Jax and UK's put out.
And especially that was the first one on the N64.
Yes.
For that style of
for that
game,
type of game.
That yeah, that Jax had that very specific look, specific gameplay.
Yeah, which to this day I still argue, No Mercy, of course, being the best of the bunch. But those were probably my favorite wrestling games of all time to play.
Yep.
And then very, very last but not least, now that we get out of the wrestling stuff, a happy 22nd birthday to the one and only, the iconic, the legend, Tomb Raider, 1996.
Oh, all right.
1996. So happy 22nd birthday to Tomb Raider. So we got a whole bunch there. But I felt like each one of those was worth bringing up because they've all made their mark in the history of video games. And that is this week's Retro Birthdays.
All right. So we kind of brought this back last time we got together. And we're going to bring it back again. So I think, you have something up on par here for Retro Spotlight. What are we going to talk about?
I do. And you know what? This is a Retro Spotlight I actually worked on, I want to say about a month or a month and a half ago for a conversation that we were going to have that never happened. So...
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so this week's Retro Spotlight, and I thought it was a good time to bring it up because you're coming to visit me, right? You're coming to Los Angeles next week. Yes.
Uh-oh.
So Larry is actually coming to visit. So the Retro Gamers are going to be in the same location again.
We were just first time on the West Coast.
Right, for the first time on the West Coast. We were together last month, but in New York. Now we're going to be together in LA, which will be interesting because it'll be warmer.
Yeah.
And but you're coming here specifically for something wrestling related.
Yeah, which I know. It's. Yes, whenever I go to LA, there tends to be a pay-per-view. But trust me, Ant, I want to come and visit you. I want to see how you're doing.
Oh, yeah,
you're
sure.
One of my best friends.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I can't help that we could possibly go backstage. So what do we have happening?
So anyway, yes, Larry's coming to LA for wrestling-related pay-per-views. So I thought it would be a good idea to do a retro spotlight on a wrestling series.
All right.
And it's not the one that you're thinking of. I know we just talked about a few retro birthdays. I didn't want to be that linear. So I wanted to do a special retro spotlight on the Legends of Wrestling game series.
Ooh, nice pull. I like this. And real quick, before you get into it, I just want to say my first experience with Legends of Wrestling was on my college campus at Delphi University in Garden City. Acclaim, a couple of times, 2, maybe 3, but I remember 2 times, came out to the campus to do research.
Oh wow!
Yeah, one time was I forgot what the other game was, but I remember they were set up in the university center. Mm-hmm. You walk in, hey, you want to take a survey, and and they just mentioned, they didn't say Legends of Wrestling, they said we're planning a wrestling game. So of course that caught my eye.
Of course.
And they had this list, a ton of wrestlers, old. And I remember looking at it, and right off the bat, I'm looking at it, I'm going, none of these guys are signed with WWE. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what is this? So basically, they were gathering info, like who would you want to see in a game with Legends? They didn't go into more detail as far as how it would work or whatever. But yeah, that came about. I checked off whatever I needed to check off, and I think that was the one when I got once you did it, you got a free game. They actually gave you a game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I remember one I walked home with, I think like Terminator 2 on Game Boy.
Okay.
And the other one I walked home with Burnout, and that's where I discovered Burnout, which is a whole other story for a whole other time. So I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be cool.
Okay. So Legends of Wrestling series. There were 3 games that came out. So I just kind of lumped them all together into a full thing.
Were there 3? Oh yeah, there were 3.
There were 3. You had Legends of Wrestling 2, and then Showdown,
yes.
Legends of Wrestling. Okay, so it was, as you said, it was developed and published by Acclaim. It was released on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox at the time.
Yep.
The first game that came out December 31st, 2001 on the PlayStation 2.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, December 31st. And then it came out later on the Xbox and the GameCube, May 22nd.
Oh, wow, that much later. Okay.
Yeah, that much later. Legends of Wrestling 2, which I find interesting, came out November 25th, 2002, but on the Game Boy Advance first.
Oh.
But then one day later, on the 26th, it came out for PlayStation 2 and GameCube, and then a week later on the Xbox. And then
that's weird.
Yeah, and then finally Showdown Legends of Wrestling was on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. And that came out June 22nd, 2004, and that was the last one in the series. Okay. Now, for those of you who've never played the Legends of Wrestling series but are wrestling game fans, it's definitely worth going back and looking into for what Larry said, because it took a lot of the old wrestlers from like the 70s and 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and it put them all together in one game. And for the first time ever, you were able to have like a dream match. You can have like your Ric Flair against I don't know,
Andre the Giant,
which never happened. So,
yep. And it had no license. When I say no licenses, it wasn't WCW, wasn't WWE,
exactly.
It wasn't ECW.
Yeah, so it was wide open. So you had you name it, you name the person if they weren't working basically for WWF or WWE or WCW at the time. Well, they were defunct at that point, but still, if they weren't working
true.
for a major organization, basically, they wound up in this game. So it was really, really cool. So Legend of Wrestling is a professional wrestling video game, obviously, based on some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. We're talking WWF, WWE, whatever you want to say, WCW, AWA, ECW. It basically spanned any wrestling organization from the 50s on. It was produced by Acclaim, released in 2001, 2002, 2004. The original roster for the first game, and this was a big deal back then too, but the original roster contained 42 playable characters, which was was a pretty decent amount of characters for a wrestling game at the time.
Yeah, I remember. I think when the game came out, I remember going like, "That's a large number of wrestlers."
Yeah. So, and if and when you think about it, it was a lot of the iconic guys. You had Hulk Hogan, you had Ric Flair, you had Ricky Steamboats. I don't know.
Savage in it?
I think Andre. I don't know if Savage was in the first one. He may not have been. He wound up in it eventually, because one of the things you were able to do were like dream matches.
Yeah.
In one of them. So, 42 playable characters. Sadly, and this is one of the things that I do when I go through wrestling games, and I know it's a really sad thing to do, but in the state of the business, of the 42 playable characters, 12 of those superstars or wrestlers are no longer alive today.
Oh no.
So yeah, I know it's one of those sad things. Four of them are Von Erichs. 4 out of those 12, because they had the whole Von Erich family in these games. What was cool about the game was that to play up the nostalgia, they gave the wrestlers an action figure kind of look. So it was very reminiscent of if you collected like WWF figures from the 80s. They were these big, big bulky action figure kind of characters. I know, Larry, you have one on your shelf back there of Hogan, I believe. There he is.
Yep.
To your and I see Nikolai Volkov.
Nikolai Volkov.
Nikolai Volkov back there. But anyway, it gave you that action figure look. So they were kind of big. They were big. They were bulky, larger than life type of thing. So it was really interesting. The modes that you can play were you were able to do 1-on-1, 3-way dance, 4-way dance, tag match, tournament, career. They had a career mode.
Oh, they did, yes.
Yeah, and they also had to create your wrestler as well, so you can create guys who were not in the game. Characters had full entrances, which was really cool, and you were able to have a manager at ringside with you. So they actually had legendary managers in the game as well.
That's right.
Yep. And then for anybody out there who is a wrestling fan from back in the day, the arenas in the game actually mimicked old arenas from the territory days of wrestling. Now, the territory days of wrestling were basically where wrestling was regional. So you had a Pacific region, a Midwest region, a Southwest region, Northeast, so on and so forth. So in the game, they kind of recreated that whole regional territory thing to play up.
That was cool.
Yeah, to play up the nostalgia, which was really cool. And when the first one came out, the reviews were pretty solid. Like Game Informer gave it a 7 out of 10. GameSpot and IGN were somewhere around the mid-5s. So they felt like, it was a decent game, but it had some work to do.
Yeah.
And so obviously when they came out with Legends 2, they upped it. They upped the ante. They added more wrestlers. They added 25 more wrestlers that were not in the original game. Mm-hmm. The game included at the time, which was really interesting because he was actually currently wrestling for WWE, but when he signed his deal with this game, he wasn't contracted with them. So
let me guess, was that Rob Van Dam?
No, Rob Van Dam was removed from the game because he signed a contract with WWE, so he was not in the second one. The character who was in the second one, who wound up working at the WWE by the time the game came out, was Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was in the second game.
Wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he was in between contracts at the time, and when he was in between those contracts, he signed a deal with Acclaim to do Legends of Wrestling 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So the cool thing about the second game was, first off, the PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions included video interviews with some of the legends. I don't know if you remember that.
I do, yeah.
And then the European version of the game actually contained 4 additional characters that were not in the U.S. version.
Oh, wow.
They were Kendo Nagasaki, Big Daddy, Mick McManus, and Giant Haystacks.
Huh.
Overall, there were 66 playable characters in the sequel. Now, again, for the first one, there were 42. So they added a good, they added 24 more. It would have been 25, but Rob Van Dam could not come back for the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and this is really sad when you think about it, 66 characters, 26 no longer alive.
Oofa.
Which is huge.
Oh, man.
They added more to the game modes. You had single, tag, 3-way, 4-way, 6-man tag, 8-man tag. You can do a 6 or an 8-way tag with tag teams. So you had like a fatal you had like a fatal 4-way tag team match.
Yeah.
Ladder match, cage match, battle royal, career mode, create, tournament. And this was, I think, the first game in my recollection that had a Survivor Series elimination style match. So a 4-on-4 elimination style match where all the guys were standing on the apron. So you had,
you don't get that often.
No, you don't. You had 3 guys on each side and then the 2 in the ring. And then what else was cool about this game is that you actually had the option to play as the referee. You can control the referee in a match in this game.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then in the game, the music in the game, which you may not know, was composed by Jimmy Hart.
Oh,
Mouth
really?
of the South, Jimmy Hart composed the music for Legends of Wrestling 2.
Huh.
And then in career mode, you went through the regional territories again, where you had to fight and defeat 5 local wrestlers, 5 no-names or jobbers, before moving up in the ranks. And you'll be happy to know that in one of the regions, the Midwest region, one of the jobbers that you fought was named Chris Anderson.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my God, I have such a lawsuit right now.
All right. A little bit of an inside joke there. Now, this was the best. This was the best reviewed of the Legends of Wrestling games. Game Informer gave it a 7, GameSpot 6, IGN 6.9. So again, no groundbreaking reviews here, but for wrestling fans, again, it's one of those things that's like a dream. You're putting your dream matches together, and it's awesome.
Especially back then, when you look at the covers of these games, there's one wrestler who stands out amongst them all. Hogan. He was on the cover of all of them. Mm-hmm. So, especially when that first game came out, you're like, Hogan? What's he doing in a game not related to, to WWE or WCW?
Exactly.
What was really cool about the second one, and again, if you're going to mention it, I apologize, I'm jumping ahead, the inclusion of Andy Kaufman.
Yes.
He was in the second one.
Right, so
and
you were
through that.
Yeah, and you were able to have the Andy Kaufman Jerry Lawler dream match that you wanted, because Jerry the King Lawler at the time was not with WWE, so he was in the game as well.
Yeah, no, the game, and every year the games came out, and we're going to talk about the third one here in a moment. Just the range of characters, definitely got better and bigger and better.
Yes. So then, now getting to the last game, which was now called Showdown Legends of Wrestling. It came out in 2004. It was released on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. It was originally also supposed to be on the GameCube, but they canceled the GameCube port. I think at that point the GameCube was already on the downswing.
Probably.
So the roster grew a little bit more. Legends of Wrestling 2 was 66 characters. This one grew to 73. So now we're talking right. So, but again, that's a huge roster.
Big.
Huge roster. The most significant roster spot at the time for Showdown Legends of Wrestling was they were able to include the Ultimate Warrior in this game.
That was kind of the next to Hogan.
Yeah, like that was their big coup, because at the time Ultimate Warrior was in legal disputes with WWE, and he was supposed to be in WWE's game in 2004, which was WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. But because of the legal disputes he was having, they excluded him from the game. He was supposed to be in it, and he wound up in Showdown Legends of Wrestling. The other interesting thing to note, and this was probably the main reasons why I bought Showdown.
Okay.
For the first time since his death, Owen Hart was included in a video game. Owen Hart was in Showdown's Legends of Wrestling. I don't know if you remember.
I'm sorry. I think I remember playing him in part 2.
No.
No? I could have sworn he was in part 2.
No, he was in Showdown.
Okay. All right. Maybe
he was in Showdown, and you were actually able. And not only was he in that one, but if I remember, you had Bret Hart, you had Jim Neidhart. I think I don't remember if you had Brian Pillman or not, but basically you could recreate a lot of the Hart Foundation in the Legends of Wrestling series. Mm-hmm. There was a new Showdown mode in this version where you actually played through. Instead of, they had the career mode, but there was a Showdown mode where you played through decades. So you played through the 70s, the 80s, and then the 90s, which was really cool.
That's cool.
They added a bunch of matches like Iron Man, First Blood, Hardcore, Battle Royale, which was their version of the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
They had they didn't have it in the previous ones, and they also added one of my favorites when I used to watch wrestling as a kid: 2 out of 3 falls. I used to love watching 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah, especially because for the most part, it's always going to go 1-1 and then have a third fall.
Hey, side note: we're getting a 2 out of 3 falls match at Takeover.
Oh, are we? Oh, that'll be interesting.
Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane.
Ooh, looking forward to that. That'll be good. Then they had what they called like classic matches. So they had pre-packaged classic matches that you were able to play, which are basically, matches that did happen in real life in the past. So you had like Hulk Hogan and Iron Sheik, Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior, Dusty Rhodes and Abdullah the Butcher, Jake the Snake and Rick Rude, Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler, like we talked about, and of course Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
Of course, epic.
Jimmy Hart came back again to compose the music. He was also a manager in the game. They had some minor new features, which also included a tribute to all of the deceased wrestlers that were in the game. There was a tutorial mode added that was narrated by Bret Hart. Yes, I know, not your favorite. But one of the coolest things about this is, remember we were talking in the other games, they had the you would go through the regions, right? Midwest or whatever. In this game, they actually were able to include legendary arenas from around the world, and they were able to include them by name. So in this game, you had
licensed.
Yes, they licensed them. So you had Madison Square Garden, you had the Boston Garden, you had the Pontiac Silverdome, the Tokyo Dome, you had Dory Funk's gym in the game, Wembley Stadium in the game to recreate Bret Hart and the British Bulldog from SummerSlam '92. Yep. Unfortunately, the reviews for this game, again, mediocre. A couple of them were sour because these games, the biggest issue with these games were they were a little bit buggy, and they never were able to get all the bugs worked out, and because of that, it did hurt it a little bit. Yeah, it did hurt it a bit. Also in this game, they reassembled the WCW Nitro commentary team for this game of Tony Schiavone, Larry Zbyszko, and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
I don't remember that. Okay.
Yep. Unfortunately, it was at that time commentary was very limited, it didn't really help the game out. Yeah, it was very repetitive. It wasn't that great. But just the idea, you can see that like the seeds of these great ideas were like it was definitely worth it, no question.
It was there. The heart was there. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the problem with this game were a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, a lot of crashes. I think the consensus behind it was they were rushing it to market, so they really didn't. They really
probably try and beat like WWE games to the punch.
Yeah, and then ironically enough, if you bought the game on the box itself, it actually said that there was commentary from Jerry the King Lawler, who was supposed to do commentary for the game, but then for some odd reason they removed it. I guess because they went with the WCW commentary team.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah. So and then Legends of Wrestling, Showdown Legends of Wrestling was the last one in the series. It did not sell very well, so therefore that series just kind of went null and void. Plus, WWE wound up signing everybody to contracts and putting the old wrestlers in their games. Yep. So that pretty much squashed any hopes of Acclaim continue this series.
Basically.
Yep. And that's all I have for the Legends of Wrestling series. So I thought that would be a good thing to do on this week's show because you're coming to me next week. It's going to be all about wrestling. So
absolutely.
I definitely don't want to talk about wrestling next week on our show. And that is this week's Retro Spotlight. Larry, it is time for this week's, and we haven't done this one in a long time. I am doing this week a canceled game of the week.
Oh, all right. Let's see what almost made it to market.
What almost made it to market. And this actually, I want to just tweak the title a little bit. I'm actually doing a canceled console of the week.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So just to throw something random out there.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Indrema L600?
Can't say that I have. I got to be honest with you.
And you know what? Neither have I, because it never came out.
And that makes good sense.
So, there was a company called Indrema Entertainment Systems. It was a consumer electronics company famous for the Indrema L600 entertainment system, which was a game console intended for independent game developers, specifically. Indrema was founded in 1999, and their goal was to create a video game console based on common PC hardware and the Linux operating system. Remember Linux?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The console would have been the only open source console on the market, as well as the only modern console to allow free software to be written on it. They wanted this to be fully open so that anybody can create a game for it.
That's cool.
Okay. The console was supposed to be released in the holiday season of 2000. So right at the turn of the century. Or, well, not actually, a year later. So there was an early developer unit featuring Quake, that was shown at Linux World, which was a Linux themed convention back in early 2000. Anybody who subscribed to Indrema's mailing list at the time received a top 10 list in the style of a David Letterman top 10 list in anticipation for the launch announcement. However, the problem was Indrema was unable to raise enough money to mass produce the console.
And this is all way before any sort of crowdfunding, even before crowdfunding was a word.
Right. So they were unable to get the capital to mass produce the console. So unfortunately, Indrema shut down on April 6th of 2001.
Oh.
The problem was the company needed $10 million in capital in order to continue.
Wow.
And finish up the product. Unfortunately, they didn't, so it didn't come out. Now, had the console been released, here are just a couple of things about it. Okay. It would have cost $299.
Not bad.
It would have had 30 games available at launch.
Wow.
They were working on 30 games. It was going to have 64 megabytes of RAM, and 96 megabytes total.
Okay.
And the storage medium would have been 10 gigabyte sized discs. And at the time, that's huge.
Yeah, that was big for back then.
It also would have been probably the first system to come out with HD TV support. Now, we're talking about in 2001.
That just started kind of hitting.
Yep. And then Indrema was going to let regular users develop their own games through a development kit. So they were actually developing the software for you to create your own games. So I really do think like this was something that would have been revolutionary for the market had it made it there. So I thought it was worthy of just bringing up. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo were basically killing everybody, so it was hard.
Not only that, there was a Linux-based system for the PS2 you were able to put together.
That's true. So unfortunately, Indrema got left out in the cold, and that is this week's canceled console of the week.
All right, we're gonna start to wrap this episode up, but we've been kind of wacky the last couple of weeks. I want to make mention here of something that was announced a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. The Virtual Boy Classic is coming, right?
I hope so. You tricked me on that, and that still hurts. And we're going to talk about that off air. So maybe I'm going to cancel my trip for next week.
You will be missed.
There ain't a chance in hell I'm missing War Games. So, Intellivision is coming back. You know, the Commodore 64 had a mini come out. ColecoVision has some of these little mini arcades coming out.
Yep.
But now, the actual company Intellivision is bringing back, well, not even bringing back, making a new system called the Intellivision Amico. And I have to say, if what they say does come to fruition, this thing actually looks really cool.
Yeah, it really does. What's surprising to me again is like, would any of these things have been happening without, let's say, the NES Classic coming out? Like, were these things, like, well, I don't know, because I want to know if these things were already in development at the time, because, I find it hard to believe that all of these companies just magically happen to be coming back.
I know this wasn't, because I remember the guy in charge of this is the same guy who does Video Games Live.
Okay.
Tommy, forgive me, I can't remember his name right now. Tommy Tomasudo or something like that. And I remember
Tommy Tallarico.
Yes. And I should be getting, actually, that Kickstarter I did with Video Games Live Volume 6. I'm getting like 27 albums out of it. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And the original Ash Ketchum from Pokemon saying, I choose you, Larry. So that's going to be on my outgoing voicemail.
He's going to be the only one who chooses you. Ever.
That's very accurate. So I know this was born, the idea was born just recent, maybe about a year ago. And now we have stats. There's a bit of a trailer for it. It's called the Intellivision Amico. Here's the beauty of it. It's really designed to be, for a system, minimal as far as price, as far as the type of games, as far as what's available to it. It's meant to be a family console.
Yes.
Here's what I mean. The price range is going to range between $150 and $180, which is not bad at all.
That's half of what a regular system costs these days.
It's scheduled to come out on 10/10/2020, October 10th, 2020.
Nice.
Basically, the games are going to be family friendly. The highest rating they're going to go is like E for everyone, or over in the UK, E10 plus. Every game is supposedly going to be exclusive to the Amico,
which is amazing. I don't know how they're going to pull that off.
Yep. They're going quality over quantity, so they're not going to just mass produce games. They have something called the Equal Opportunity Gaming, balanced gameplay. So I guess they don't want to make anything too easy but not too hard.
Right.
The games are going to range, and it's all down. There's no physical media. I think it's all downloadable. They're going to range between $3 and $8 a game.
Again, super inexpensive.
Another part of their theme: no costly DLC, add-ons, or in-app purchases.
Yes.
What you buy, you get everything when you buy it.
And I am all for that, because let me tell you something. Games these days, it's getting a little bit daunting that you cannot have everything in the game right at the get-go.
And at launch, there's going to be a bunch of reimagined Intellivision classic games built into the system, and over 20 games, including both reimagined industry classics and brand new exclusive titles via Intellivision online store.
And that I'm looking forward to, because there was some really great games on the Intellivision.
Oh, amazingly. Just real, and we'll go into this later on as more information truly comes out. The controllers are going to be 2 wireless Bluetooth controllers. You can play up to 8 players. 8 controllers. If you remember the Intellivision controller, it kind of looked like it almost looked like a cell phone with physical keypad on it.
Yes, it did.
Now it's going to be basically touchscreen with a physical kind of joystick on the bottom, like a rocker. You can use a smartphone as additional controllers.
That's awesome.
The controllers charge wirelessly. It's called Qi charging. The controllers can be used vertically, horizontally. There's force feedback, all that fun stuff. Also, the games, Intellivision classics reimagined and remade exclusively for the Intellivision. We're just going to run through this very quickly. Astro Smash, Shark, Baseball, Night Stalker, Math Fun, Snafu, Star Strike, and B-17 Bomber. I actually remember that game.
Yeah, I like how you pointed out Math Fun.
What? That's what struck my eye. There's going to be Atari classics reimagined and remade exclusively for the Amigo. We're talking
Amico.
Pong. Amico, yeah, what'd I say?
Amigo.
Amigo? Hey, all right. Made exclusively for all of us. Pong, Asteroid, Centipede, Tempest, Adventure, the crappy Missile Command.
I love Missile Command. You suck.
Yar's Revenge, Breakout, Lunar Lander, Night Driver, Skydiver, and Warlords. And Imagic classics. I don't know if you remember these games.
I do.
In Magic Classics, such as Demon Attack, Dracula, Beauty and the Beast, Swords and Serpents.
Mm-hmm.
R-Type is gonna be on here. 10-Yard Fight, Lode Runner. The list goes on and on.
Bad Dudes. Remember Bad Dudes?
Bad Dudes, yes.
Spelunker was another one of my favorites.
Yes, and the very dirty-sounding Miner 2049er game.
Yes, Miner 2049er. And the awesome chess fighting game, Archon. Chess-like fighting game. I love Archon. One of my...
And they're going to be reimagined. They're going to be reimagined. That's what's awesome about it.
War. Check out will be war.
Check out IntellivisionEntertainment.com for more information. We still have a couple years to go on this.
Yep.
They're all preliminary photos of it, but I mean, this thing looks really sweet. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, no question about it. I'm a lot more excited about this one than the ColecoVision.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Even though I'm waiting for my little ColecoVision Evolve systems.
Nice. Yep. Definitely more excited about that. So we'll see what Intellivision brings on 10/10/2020.
Yep.
So, and then moving on from that, Larry, I wanted to share a couple of things with you that I picked up. No, they are not retro games that I purchased to add to my total because you're losing a month and a half from now.
I have faith. I'm going to Game On today, but I'm not going to buy anything.
Yeah, I doubt that seriously. So, but anyway, I got a couple of things actually for my birthday that I wanted to show you because I think they're really cool. And not only that, the first two things you're going to want to go out and buy for yourself.
Am I going to be jealous?
You'll be jealous until you go out and buy them because they're readily available. But for Christmas this year, Hallmark has released some special video game ornaments.
Oh.
So, first off, you get Link from The Legend of Zelda.
Ooh.
Ornament, yeah. This is why.
That looks just like from the instruction booklet.
It looks like the instruction booklet and the cover from the original Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Nice.
Really, really cool. So again,
very cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one. The other one, which I know you're going to run out and buy today, is the original Donkey Kong arcade cabinet Christmas ornament.
Can you play it?
No.
Oh. Still. Oh man.
So I got those from awesome. My friend Sean. So thank you very much, Sean. Those were awesome gifts. And then the other gift I actually told you about it and showed you a picture of, but I wanted to open it on the show.
I think I don't remember it.
Well, it's this Rupees treasure chest from Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
So these are paperweights, but they can't. I don't know where my mom found this, but I thought it would be interesting to show it because I haven't opened this yet. So
we're gonna do an unboxing, folks.
We're gonna unbox it right here.
Oh.
So you got your nice little treasure chest here.
God.
I know, and it's bulky too. So
yeah, I see that.
So there we go.
It's got foam in it. You got to return it.
It's got foam.
Oh, I like the look at the inside of the inside of the lid. No, look at the inside of the lid.
No, I see that. Really cool.
Okay. Oh, look at those! My God, those rupees look amazing.
Oh, and apparently,
careful, don't let them fall out.
Nope. There's I guess I got to put batteries in it. Yep, it takes batteries.
Oh. What for? What?
Well, because I think.
Batteries on you?
No, because I just saw a button on the inside. I think when you open the chest, it makes the sound of when you open the chest in the.
Do you have AA batteries? It's not like we're live.
No, we are live. I will get 3 AA batteries right now, so I shall return.
3 AA?
Yeah, hold on.
Number. Are you still recording? Am I doing this? All right, I guess I can still talk. You know what? I'm still going to talk because Anthony saw these before, so I'm going to talk about my stuff while he's in the background. Since we went to Chiller Theater, there was a couple things I picked up at Chiller. As much as I'm trying to get rid of my pops, I am now getting pops. So this is one here. I got a glow-in-the-dark Gyro Attack Mega Man, and that is exclusive from the Canadian convention. So that's pretty cool. And
I was going to say I would cut this part out, but apparently you were talking.
Yeah, well, yeah. And you saw me when I bought these, so. And I got a cool Space Invader, medium Space Invader, GameStop exclusive. But it's cool because I actually have the green one as well. I forgot I bought the green one, which now stinks because there's like 9 different colors. So now I have to buy them.
Okay, so there we go. Let's see what it does. Nothing.
Hit the button.
Did I turn it on?
The battery's dead?
No, there's a brand new battery. Ah. Okay, so when you open it, you get...
Oh my god!
And now without the case in there.
Are they sitting there? Are they loose in there? Are they sitting there?
No, these are paperweights.
Okay, no, I didn't know how they were sitting in there, so that's why I was...
Yeah, so you can see.
Yeah, no, I see. That is... Whoa.
And you can see, yeah, these are gorgeous.
Yep. Those are beautiful.
Yep. So I got my own treasure chest of paperweights.
In the middle of the night, when I'm over, you're gonna hear in the middle of the night. And you'll be like, stop taking the rupees.
So, yes. Yeah. So, very, very cool. And yeah, and like I said, like you'll feel them when you come visit. They have some heft to them. They're definitely paperweights.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful.
So this is just a really cool random gift. I've never seen it before anywhere in any store, so I have no idea where she found it. Thanks, Mom. I'm 40. You make me feel like I'm 6, but that's okay.
Hey, listen, that's what it's all about.
Video games for my birthday, and
that is sweet.
Yes, very excited about that. And you know what? This is not going back in the box. This is staying out.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yes.
Let the cats play with the box.
Yeah, the cats can have the box. So yeah, so those were just a couple of cool things I wanted to share.
Wait, very, very cool. And I shared my 2 pops.
Yep.
While you went, and I guess that's probably it.
I believe that is it for this week.
All right, so let's wrap this one up. So yeah, next week we will be recording from Los Angeles, California.
Can you do me a favor? Start over the wrap up. For some odd reason, the link to Intellivision just blocked your whole screen on my thing. So I have to cut that out.
No problem.
Yep.
All right, the wrap up. I got you.
Yep.
All right, so that's pretty much going to do it for this week.
Yes.
And next week we will be recording from Los Angeles, California,
in separate rooms, so we can still do the split screen.
I'm just going to get a hotel room just for that.
Yes.
I'll go way a ways. So we're gonna do that, and I figure maybe no guarantee. You see, we could do like a live stream of actually playing a game where we're in the same room.
Yes,
so we'll check that out. But I can't wait to get over there to finally see. Every time I go to LA, it always seems to be a new apartment. So I can't wait to see this one.
Although I have been in this apartment for over 3 years. So
have you really?
Yeah, it's been almost 3.5 years.
Holy cow! Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it's been a while since SummerSlam was in LA, so that makes sense.
That's very true.
Joking. So, and I will actually see you in a few days, in about a week.
Yeah.
No, in a few days.
In a few days.
And we'll figure all out what we're going to talk about next week. And as always, thank you for joining us here, whether you're listening to the podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, go give us 5-star ratings, 5-star reviews, please. We're definitely looking for them. It'd be awesome, because then more reviews, the more people can find us. And where can they find us anyway?
They can find us at theretrogamers.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/retrogamerspodcast. You can find us on Instagram at retrogamerspodcast. And you can listen to us. What?
Oh yeah, okay, nope.
I was going to say, you can listen to us on Spreaker, Amazon Alexa, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Basically, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us there. We're on Spotify. Just look for us there. But yeah, basically anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find the Retro Gamers. Like Larry said, we're at episode 114. So you're just starting to listen now, there's a huge back catalog. You can also watch us now on YouTube if you want to watch the video version of the Retro Gamers podcast.
And we're going to start posting up more like video gameplay and stuff like that. Maybe not necessarily live, but we'll post up video gameplay. Maybe live. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see where we get to. But we're working on it.
All right. Well, with that, I got to go pack for a trip to Los Angeles because it will take me a few days to pack.
Mm-hmm. And I do not have to pack for once.
No, you're good to go.
Yes.
Until I land and you get a text. All right, we got to go to Japan.
At which point I'll be like, you're on your own.
No, I'd go with you. So with that, folks, let's wrap it up. We will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.